Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 183 of the Nope Coach podcast, Scaffolding. I'm your host, Suzanne Culberg. I find it highly entertaining that I'm going to speak about scaffolding today because I know very little about the building industry. My kids' school has been being upgraded for what feels like forever now. The school isn't large enough to host all the children that are now enrolled there. And what they used to do was add a demountable, so a movable classroom, but they ran out of physical space. There was no more room on the campus for demountables. They took up the oval, the play area. There's just little classrooms everywhere. So for the past, I don't know if it's been probably 2 years now, they have been rebuilding the school to a 3-story area. So the kids have been shuffled around. There's been no library, there's been no hall, there's been no sports, there's been no extracurricular to allow for this rebuilding of the school. This week, it's due to open. It is finally complete. And I've been observing them removing the scaffolding as the classrooms are finally ready to stand on their own and the children are moving into them. And what the funniest thing is it's a 3-story building now. And I remember my kids, both of them, independently of each other, telling me that there was a slide between the floors. So they didn't need to walk down the stairs, they can slide. And I thought that was just a story or a dream or a wish. But no, there is legitimately slides between the floors. I think that's amazing. Anywho, what this has me thinking about is where else in our lives do we have scaffolding to support us, to hold us up, to keep us in place while we are creating a new version of us, while we are stretching into an area that's uncomfortable or unknown. And where could we have scaffolding that we haven't put into place, or where have we left the scaffolding that's too long? So down the road from my kids' school, there is a house that has been built for, I don't know, quite some time, much longer than the school. And I don't know if the people moved or something came up or they ran out of money. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but the scaffolding, nothing has been done for that property in quite some time. And it's starting to kind of rust and change color and nothing's happening. And, that has me thinking about where do we rely on things for much too long and don't actually take the scaffolding down and stand on our own. When my oldest niece, was a baby and learning to walk, she was very hesitant to walk on her own. She would walk fine if she held your hand, but if she wasn't holding on to either a person's hand or furniture cruising, she would not take steps on her own. And I remember my sister thinking, how are we going to encourage this? So what she did was she got this cloth peg type thing, and she would hold one end and my niece would hold the other end, and they would walk along. And then when my niece wasn't paying attention, my sister would let go of the other end and my niece would just keep walking independently, unknown that she's walking independently. And if she ever happened to look sideways or glimpse that my sister wasn't holding the other end or somebody, she'd immediately fall down to her bottom. And this has me thinking as well, is where do we have the scaffolding that we no longer need and are holding ourselves back from growing into the next level of us? All things to ponder, because when we start to do new things, create new things, do something that we haven't done before, we may need support from a coach, from a team member, from somebody who has been there, somebody who has the information that we don't yet have. But sometimes we outgrow that and we hold on too long. And then we're no longer being supported and it kind of becomes a drag. Just, things to consider. Where in your life do you require some scaffolding? Where in your life is there some scaffolding that is no longer supportive? Or where in your life is there some scaffolding that has been abandoned? And how can you, tidy that up, do, delegate, ditch to make space? That was all I had for you today. Just some ponderings on building and, things in life. Thank you so much for listening. If you would like to come onto the show, I love having guests. If you go to my website, suzanneculberg.com, click on podcast, scroll down, there is an application form there. So fill it in, come join me on the show. I'm open to whatever suggestions. What are your ponderings? What are your musings? And let's have a chat about it. Thanks for listening. Catch you on the next one. Bye for now.